Hello, Essentials.tf audience. It is Essentials.tf here. We're covering more ETF2L here on the lovely channel of Essentials.tf. I'm TurboTabs. I am joined in the booth with Wandom. Wandom, how are we doing?
I'm doing amazing. How are you doing, TurboTabs?
I'm doing great. I've been playing some TF2 Classified recently, but before we get into the tyrant about that, we should probably stick to the regular realm of TF2. But otherwise, you've been good. You've been good, all right.
Yeah. I've been. I'm sitting inside a snowstorm happening outside me right now. Got 20 centimeters of snow in like 4 hours, so that's
God damn.
always nice. Traffic has gone to a standstill. I hope Ben's doing okay. He's producing for us tonight.
No, he'll be
listening to
fine.
us.
I'm sure the stress isn't getting to him at all. But yes, he is doing the production for our game tonight. It's going to be a week 5 game, but I'll level with you, Wandom. These weeks have been kind of turning into days, and some days have been turned into weeks. It's a very experimental ETF2L season, as they've shortened the time length for when you can kind of schedule all your games out. But let's just say this is the 5th game that all these two teams have to play against each other, and those teams are Dirty Maggots versus Kek Minoin. What's that team's name? Kek Minoin Samurai. Okay.
We've been calling them the Samurai, I think, Turbo. It's the most logical solution to this, unless you want to call them the Kek Minoins, which I will not stop you.
Well, we'll see what comes out of my mouth during the season. But as for now, it is going to be these two teams facing off each other. Dirty Maggots kind of seeing themselves as one of the stronger contenders of the season. Maybe not the strongest, but still quite strong in the grand scheme of things. Probably hitting around 2nd place seeding. Whilst Kek Minoin Samurai, I think they're doing a bit better than most teams, but they're not doing the best.
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting game in the sense that I think that it's a very strong contender for clearly a 2nd place team in the Dirty Maggots, and then also the Samurai. I think, in my eyes, from sort of watching the rest of the season, they look like they are, at least for me personally, they are the favorites for getting that sort of 3rd place finish. They had an excellent showing last week against Mandem, where they played their sort of pocket pick that they have of product, and they actually managed to take that map victory. Then we went on to sort of a more normal standard game of Granary, and there they did not stand much of a chance up against Mandem, but actually doing better in their showing against that number 1 team in Mandem than the Dirty Maggots did in their official. You've got the pick bands on your screen. You can see that we are actually going to be watching another Koth game. It's Maggots picking Bagel, and that makes me really interested to see if the Koth gimmick extends to Bagel, or if it's purely a product thing.
Well, Product and Bagel are famously different, I would say, in the Koth realm of things. So, but you never know. It could be just, those sorts of feel-good, emotional gamers where you get a couple of kill spire and you start snowballing. And if you could just skirmish your little tits off, maybe you can just make that Koth game mode work. But it'll be interesting tonight because you're right. I've looked at the results now of Kek Minoin Samurai, and they are pretty impressive. Actually, probably standing better than Dirty Maggots themselves, as they did take that loss against Mandem. So that is going to be interesting when it comes to playoffs. Maybe if it comes down to just 3 teams, or maybe 4 teams being in the running and everybody else just gets a random sort of loss here and there. But Mac fancies himself as pretty much a playoff contender and warrior. He really does make upsets happen throughout the history of ETF2L. So this will be interesting to watch tonight.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited. I think there's a couple of caveats here. The first is that for the Samurai, they will not have sort of, I think, Silves, who's been having himself rather an excellent last couple of seasons, played super well. It's not going to be available tonight. So Warped is going to be stepping in for Silves, who I think is a pretty decent replacement. I think he plays a very similar style. He knows all the guys on the Samurai very, very well, and I hope that he can sort of fit into that team quite nicely. But I think for me, the sort of exciting part of Maggots is they actually... So the story is this, Turbo.
Okay.
Boxy is playing with the Maggots. He goes to Uberfest. They beat the Frenchies twice. Then he's like, oh my god, let's go to Poland and we'll beat up the Americans as well. But then, Boxy can't go to LAN. So then the Dirty Maggots scramble and they end up getting a replacement scout in bot mode. So now they have an American on their team. But then, Piggles can't come to LAN either because he's busy with work. So they scramble again and they find a replacement medic in Juxta. Pickles is now still coming to LAN, but also playing on a different team, as well as Voxy, who will also be coming to LAN, but not playing on the Maggots. So...
Is this just like a really clever way of, like, you know when you don't want to break up with your significant other, you're like, I'm just going to cheat death, and they... say they put out the obituary, they send all their, like, the flowers to the widow, and they're like, to be hoo-hoo and all this. But, it's like a drama made up in, like, the daytime dramas where it's like, oh, what are you doing still alive? Anyway, speaking, we should probably cover the game. The game has just started. We are on our first map of Gullywash. I'm pretty sure this is the map pick of Kek Minoin Samurai, so it'll be interesting to see what Mac and the company come up with. But what's happening on this mid-mandem?
It is already Zams rolling in, and it's a very fast soldier bomb. Super aggressive there from Geordie, bombing in onto the enemy side. The damage Elton's actually left quite low as Bloke. So actually Warp taking so much damage, but it's Mac going down first, and there's a lot of damage coming across the point. Everyone falling on both sides, actually. But the health bars on the Samurai end up falling. Just SNH and Eon left alive, and SNH has a lot of clean up work to do. It is 3 players going forward. Zams wants a pick of the enemy medic, but SNH, I think he just might be able to clean this up.
I couldn't take a bet throughout the entire mid. Like, so many times I thought, yeah, Kek Minoin Samurai have this going. Then a pipe happened and got a double kill. I was like, oh, this isn't happening. They've lost tragically. And then SNH actually holds the line and turns it around again. So, very clutch game so far from both squads.
This is an interesting situation on middle as well. Zams is not up, and that means that the aggression is just going to come out instantly from the Samurai here. They're taking so much control in through Big Door, but now with the Demo Man up, this is actually a very split dirty Maggots. As Botmo's just in on mid, they're breaking it.
Yeah, and not only that, Aeon dropped his scout, and now we have to go into the emergency exit of drop down, but every medic always gets absolutely pummeled around drop down area. Gullywash being famously that cap on mid where it caps just as quickly as that second point. So it was very crippling to have that play come out, and it probably didn't help that Eon dropped his little pocket.
Yeah, that's a really unfortunate ending to that. I think initially, very nice play from the Samurai, recognizing Zam's not with his team. They had that opening, but then I think Botmo just does such an excellent job there, realizing that mid is completely free. The bus coming in, collapsing on both sides. So good for the Maggots, and now they're finding themselves pretty decent advantage here. You can see already on Juxta, 70% Uber charge, getting ready to go. This is a big Uber advantage that they could just look to send straight in onto last.
So Mac is assuming the position. He's behind point. He's stickied up the point. He's got even a soldier buddy to keep him protected. So really doubling down on the safety of their demo man there. They take out the sentry gun. They even get a bonus SNH kill on the pyro. So that's already a nice start. Afk already clearing the point of stickies, but Mac is going to reset them back up. And Flick is pummeled down by all the aggression. And now it's just lowly little Mac left. Mac doesn't even have time to pop off those stickies. And yeah, I think there was just too many casualties at the start of that Uber.
It's, yeah, that loss on SNH really puts the Samurai on the back foot, and then Zams just plays it so nicely. There's no one there on the right spawn, so he can just pummel all of his stickies in onto that heavy that's coming out of the resup. Does absolutely no damage. Does end up going down in the end, but it's so much space created by those stickies there. So that's going to net Maggots a very early round. They're coming all the way back onto mid. That is, I think, a bit faster than the Samurai would like. Very nice pipe there onto KN.
Oh, KN even gets picked off by Warped. Very nice. Actually, Warped almost making an attempt to keep himself alive, but will go down. And yeah, I think that early frag under KN kind of set the tone for the... Oh, actually, bot mode getting a bit clever, thinking he can hold the line here, but they're going to get a massive crunch coming out from Bloke from behind. I don't think they needed to stick around there. It was kind of almost a free back out with KN going down so early.
But it's just such a nice flank there from Bloke as well. I think, yes, they can run out, and they absolutely should have, right? They have both scouts alive. You definitely could chariot out your medic, but Leth is coming in with that little flank as Bloke, and getting that follow-up cleanup, it is so nice. But really, to be honest, that mid, the second Mac hits that airshot pipe onto KN, it is so hard for the Maggots to play. Their health bars are so much lower than they want to be, and so the spam can just come across everyone falling. Now the Samurai Uber coming in straight once again.
Alright, Uber straight in. Sentry gun, they're not a bit annoying to take down, but they don't lose anybody. Zams has got the point on lockdown. He's even got the cannonballs ready to kind of keep them. And Zams going to get the first pick off into Warp. He takes one for the team. Time for on the cap, but that will be costly as they have both scouts exposed, and they will pay off. The scouts hold the line. There's nothing really to damage them because they just took out the pyro so quickly.
Yeah, there's just no point pressure there at the end, and it's just Flick with a nice little 2K just sets the point for absolutely free, massive positioning. Just get that cap. So that is a fast round in response to another fast round. We are even basically immediately hit turbo tabs.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. I like both teams. They're kind of changing strats a little bit on their mids, so it makes me assume that they've got more sort of ideas over on Mandem. But this time, they're playing something slightly different. This just playing KN under and letting him kind of pick and choose how he's going to take these jumps. And Jordy, first one to kind of show some sort of exposure and then bring KN. And they're trying to get on top of Eon, seeing if they can pick him out. But he's doing a wonderful job kiting all those soldiers. Will go down finally to this final little remnant warrior. And, well, now their medic is also going to go down in the last stray seconds of this mid. They even pocket him for a couple of seconds just to give him an extended respawn compared to the rest of Mandem.
I think that has to be a bit of a misplay for Juxta, right? His respawn is so much later now than Eon. Eon doesn't have anyone sort of immediately with him in spawn. Ultimately, it's not going to be the biggest super ad, but
airshot from block there. Yeah, wins out the little skirmish fight on second, and Jordy might feel like he has to put on his cape and go hero mode, but will think better of it. Won't actually pressure out the blob of Keck minoin Samurai. They're going to just give up second.
Giving up second, they have no positioning, right? It's the airshot out of left onto KN means that there's just no one there to defend. Bot mode already up on that engineer. The advantage is there, but is small, so it's going to be difficult for it to actually mean anything sort of in the beginning. So instead, we're going to send in two players through water. Suchgun already spammed down by Flick, and you can see this pressure. SNH peaking lower, and this is where you have to start getting really careful. That pressure is on.
The new sentry gun seems to be KN. They're all trying to spam KM off the ring so they can do a better point play. But Af is just switches targets. Like, okay, if you're going to shoot my roamer, here's now the sentry gun, and he's going to keep him well protected.
Yeah, this is a sentry gun down, and that opens the door for left to try and sack in. Doesn't actually manage to find the force there onto Juxta, so they're sacking 4 to try and get a medic kill. Don't find it, so Mac is going to back out really, really fast. Sticky's up on the shutter door, but he can't stay in on second. There's too many players. They're going to get height immediately. So even Uber's players will be spawning on mid. They're all getting the forward spawns, but we're going to be fight into second now instead of last. So SNH Sniper through big door.
So we just need to remember our mistakes previously here, Wandom. So no more pushing the choke for free. They need to have some sort of resistance to deal with bot mode and Jordy if they're going to make this I guess play happen again. And well, I tell you what, they're actually pushing and make the attempt, but they're making the rotation rather quickly this time to deal with it. So they're keeping them on the toes over against the Samurai.
Yeah, it's Warped sort of using all that chaos to try and get it behind, open up an angle, maybe perhaps for SNH. That medic's sitting in a corner. You can't really snipe it through choke. Kind of need to be able to get through behind. So I think the idea is actually you send in Warp behind, open the door for SNH to potentially sneak in onto enemy lobby and get the headshot onto the opposing medic. Not finding it, so he's going to be staying on the sniper, and the longer this is up, the less effectiveness it's going to have, because you can see where the Maggots are playing. Absolutely no one for SNH to click on at the moment.
Yeah, they actually got some rockets onto SNH, so they know he's playing sniper. They heard probably that sniper groan and moan from being shot at, so it won't be a surprise here. They're still going to pressure out this big door, try and support the sniper a bit, but the big door wasn't really kind of counting the inside fighting, but Warp, get down, Mr. President, does try to keep SNH high just that little bit longer, still goes down to the follow-up bot mode, but now it's the turn of Mandem to make moves.
Such nice rockets there from KN, huge onto both SNH and onto Warp, who bombs in to try and save his sniper. We're trading Ubers here on middle. The team really finding much of an advantage. It's Aft just in onto mid. This is a very low demo.
Yeah, I guess they just didn't count them by sticking in for so long, despite getting a better counter Uber off over on Keck minoin Samurai. So Matt gets a bit disconnected as they just go for him, and now they are just losing people to these little skirmishes because they get divided by the point itself.
This is a weird position here for the Samurai. They don't have players up, really. Mac attempting to just go for a sticky trap, but unfortunately the enemies are going to come from a different angle. So he's going to be sat on the low ground here. With 2 players down, I think Maggots have an angle to push from. It's a bit scary to try and push through this choke, so I think they're going to opt not to, and instead we're looking at a situation with even Ubers, but now with everyone up alive for the other team, I feel like Maggots might have missed sort of their initial opportunity. You can see them sending in players behind through lobby. This is a standard play. The can going in, but what are you going to do here? Taking a lot of damage already.
Yeah, Dirty Maggots just maybe taking a bit too much time, being overly cautious, and despite being overly cautious, they still managed to push through choke anyway. They get the kill onto Af and Juxta, and now they're hitting them with their own medicine here. No back cap, more like a front cap, as they just take away all advantages from poor Dirty Maggots. Kane's even going to get picked off by Warped as well. It's going from bad to worse, and bot mode is in no man's land. He's not really contributing any point to his team. They're already Ubered into last. They're lacking an extra player to kind of make this defense happen. No time to settle. Eon has taken away the Uber. They're that confident on this last point, and it's a second round for the map pickers of Kek Minoin Samurai.
That is such a nice heads-up play from the Samurai. Recognizing no one's on to choke, they just walk in for free. And that means, yes, they net control of middle. But then there's a follow-up frags there from SNH so far forward. And Shuxa's just nowhere near the rest of his team. Gets cleaned up. And that nets them a massive advantage to push last with as well. Suddenly, Samurai finding themselves in a massive advantage here on Gullywash. Round up already, 10 minutes to go. Or 10 minutes gone, I should say. This is Juxta caught out on middle.
We've got a nice little rocket onto Geordie, but Geordie was so healthy from his first initial jump. He's actually not as weak of a target as he's suspected to be put out. And what delicious bait. They've lost 2 players now because of that try on Geordie's life.
Yeah, this is committing a lot to try and get that singular kill. It's Ken going down early, but then unfortunately further positioning. So now even Ubers once again, you can see Geordie instantly in behind as well, to try and create this flank scenario, but players just back to deal with him. Sacked your single soldier. That's about it. Even Uber's here. So 1 player down. You can see SNH looking to get a bit aggressive through big. Oh, there's a demo man peeking this as well. I wonder. Looking for a push?
I think both teams are going to be very sheepish right now. How many times have we seen these mids collapse just because the flank gets caved in by the huge blob of the opposing team? So I think they're all going to just kind of play it very chill and maybe prioritize this choke a bit more.
They are staring at it, that is for sure. Zam's considering his options. There are stickies right around this corner. You see the soldiers spamming them as well. Actually, no.
There's like 70 stickies on that one door. Mac has got a hatred for that big door. They still make his way in, though. You know, they've disarmed it one at a time, and we've got a lot of players bouncing about on this big door. But what is the plan here, Dirty Maggot? Get KM behind, it seems.
This is the standard play they've been going for a while. This is KN getting the jump on to blow this time around. Early damage, but what can you really follow up that with? It is a lot of damage actually onto Mac. He's in really terrible position, and that's going to allow Jordan to just bomb in through choke. A lot of damage dealt, and actually the enemy forced back, but Zams ends up being the one traded. Oh, and he actually does find the frag.
But that's a couple of frags already lost down. They've forced the enemy Uber, but they're playing with a lot less players now. Well, Flick does get equalized, but they have to make a lot of work happen during this Uber charge. SNH just tries to cut past everybody. I know my medic is dead, but maybe I can take out yours. And they collapse in both of the soldiers. A lot of shared space by all of Dirty Maggots there. And because of that, Warped and Bloke's follow-up were very, very, very punient. And we're even going to try and make a try at mid as well.
This is Soldier 1v1, add 6 on middle, but Left staying true to his MGE main roots does not believe in a traditional 1v1 Soldier battle on any map, including Gullywash middle. So he's going to bomb out, realize that there's a rest of an enemy team coming as well. So Maggots are going to maintain control of this middle point. This is where Turbo Taps, I start worrying a bit for the round timer. About 1 minute 30 left before we go to a round reset, and so far Maggots really haven't been successful. It seems like that one play of trying to get KN in behind is not quite working out for them. They're going to need to find an answer soon, because they only have 1 minute 20 left to work with.
I'm not sure either of these teams will be happy about a round reset as well. The mids have been going kind of back and forth. It's not been kind of certain dominance. So suspect maybe even like some conceding here. Maybe just delaying the team cap just so we can keep this controlled state of the game going.
They're sitting up towards Big Door, but this is KN instantly caught out. He just tries to go for that flank, and instead the choke bust is going to come through from the side of the Samurai.
They've used the Uber a bit aggressively, or maybe you could say defensively. They're going to pop, get the force out to Eon, but one scout's already committed in. That was bot mode, thinking that they were going to make much more of a post-fight out of it during that Uber, but they give up 2. But it's a difficult, tall order to ask for a push in on mid now, because they're going to have those respawners up relatively soon.
It's less doing a lot of early damage.
KN is doing a lot of work.
He's 12 HP and lower. And he's just going to get cleaned up. He has the kill bind. And I think this is just finally the Maggots managing to find the bust. Massive rocket from Jordy down in the end to clean up. Everyone on the Samurai is dead. This is a spawn camp waiting for them to happen. They're going to run right into this.
Get in the bin, they say. They already got stickies on right and the KN watching on the left. But it's a long time in FPS land to wait for that point to click and tick down. Flicker's already back on Pyro, trying to get his teammates back in. KN already punishing people, trying to make the point play. And I think they may have stuck around maybe too long. They finally actually get a couple of kills to kind of control all the rest of Kek Minoin Samurai. There's one heavy left, but they've got the Uber charge.
No.
We've all forgot about the Uber charge, and they'll get a nice tidy second round on their board. And it looked a bit dicey there, but those kills did find their way in that long spawn camp.
So many super close moments in both of the fights that we ended up seeing there. I cannot believe that the Dirty Maggots came up on top of that initial mid-fight. I just don't see the way that they actually managed to win that. And then even getting the wipe at the end, they roll it into last. And once again, as you're saying, that heavy almost holds on, but unfortunately just doesn't quite have enough health. Ends up getting taken down. This is Maggots replying with another round of their own. So all tied up here. 14 minutes left. We're back on mid, and it's early pressure onto Zams.
Yeah, one soldier on Zams and the other soldier kind of dealing with the choke, and the scouts are fixated on a drop-down soldier, kind of lets everybody else push across. Warp's doing a lot of work for his team, not only pressuring and getting the kill on Zams, but rotating, getting all those other stragglers, trying to equalize out those kills. But it's not without a bit of casualties over on Kek Minoin Samurai. They've lost Eon during that mid.
You can see on the health bars how close that mid was. Everyone who's still alive on the Samurai is so low. But just getting that earlier kill ever so slightly onto Juxta nets them the health advantage. They have the early positional advantage from Zams dying at the very beginning of the mid as well. So they could take control of second, but it is even Ubers.
No, it is not. It's not even Ubers. How dare you? It's crits versus Uber charge, and KN. We're just doing a little class checking, but will he have checked the medic class and what they're rocking?
He's on medic right there and then. So they're gonna know that this is a crits. And no one's going to come up any second now. It's Mac. You can see him already aiming at this gun.
He's already taken out the sentry gun as well. That's usually a big dissuading factor against, but they've got the pyro. They're trying to keep the stickies away. The medic is stuck between two glowing stickies, and they will get one pick. Actually, S&H forcing them up water as well. There's a lot of boiling point happening across this game. Warp is going to try and make a go of it on this last remnants of the match. Oh, even a sucker punch coming out from Flick there. And it keeps them from pushing out as quickly as they would have hoped over on Dirty Maggots.
Yeah, Flick, all he needs to do right now is just delay. Juxta has a massive Uber advantage to work with here as well. As you can see, SNH is up on that defensive sniper, but I really don't like the sniper angle. Coming in onto second, you can't really hold on to it that well. But because of that amount of cap time, you see KN feels forced to sit back on last. It's actually going to let SNH have time to set up an appropriate angle here, but the Uber pops straight away.
S&H is dead. He is caught in the corner. Oh my god, they don't know he's there. They do not know he's there. I repeat, they're capping, putting everybody on the point right now and just pretending to ignore the sniper. But they will cap it off. Af gets a little love tap, but won't and manage to get S&H down. And they've still got this tool in their kit to kind of disrupt Dirty Maggots here.
Eon has Uber rather, but because S&H is on the sniper now, it's a lot harder to turn. They are down 2 players as well, with Bloke only just respawning for the moment. But this is a massive ad here for the Samurai. Looking to just bust this in through choke. They have big Uber, and it's going to be pumped straight away in onto Mac and onto Flick. But everyone on the other side just busted away straight away. Only Jordy going down, and that is mighty fine. SNH, you need to find a shot now.
This is an NA Uber style where they just want to really claim second. They know that they're going to get the Uber back over on Dirty Maggots, but it's a different order making a Uber push out from last with all your players up, because now the back cap could be turned deadly over on this round. So and they've even got a sniper to boot to kind of delay this already. So kind of sheepish. They will pop off the Uber. They make the attempt. It's a big solo Uber. They get the kill onto Eon, so no safety now. The second Uber to come out, but they have to get a bit more kills, and maybe there's a couple of back tap attempts. Bloke trades out against Geordie, so that is nullified over on the back cap. But Flick and Mac are making a go of it because they've been spread so thin over on Dirty Maggots, and they even lose their medic in the final moments as well. Flick is going to go run tails over KN. If he can shoot him, that is. He's just hiding. It's covered-based gameplay.
It's Flick with the dodge, like the millimeter dodge on that rocket from KN. So perfectly placed. Dude, Zam starts out that fight going at warp speed towards the enemy medic. Instantly takes down Eon, but he falls so much earlier. Now Flick has heal advantage. They're looking to roll this onto last because the players on the other side are not up.
Yeah, Flick comes back and gets the kill onto Af, and can they even follow up a kill onto Flick as well? Oh, double kill from Johnny coming out at Eon and SNH. The house of cards has fallen here, Wandom, and is looking strong on the blue defense. Warp will go down as well. Mac probably scratching his head. How did my teammates die in a second?
It is such a huge bomb from Geordie and KN coming in. Destruction onto the enemy combo, shutting them all down, and it looks so difficult for the Maggots to hold on. But Geordie finds the perfect bomb, shutting down the enemy medic. Now they have a bit of advantage to work with. It is one player hiding here.
Oh no, it's a corner goblin. I've heard about these. These are awful, awful little creatures. And on a map like this, at this stage of the game, I don't think they'll be expecting it. This back cap could be, you know, just tremendous.
SNH has been having himself a pretty good game. He's going to need to find a few more shots. Now the enemy combo is looking to just push forward.
They've used straight away. They've used the Uber. SNH, he's decided to take the backstab kill against KN. He locks up with his buddy on the back cap, and bot mode has to come back, but he's only one lonely scout against the wall. Zams is wondering, where the hell are my team? It's because my team is dealing with the back cap, so he's going to go down, and they're going to feast on the rest of these dirty maggots. And you think it's a back cap, but Mac is actually deciding against going back. They're going to go and defend middle instead and play a bit safer. KN has entered the fight. Player 3 has entered the game, and he has got the force out of Eon, and now they have to start picking up the pieces once more. Juxta does manage to get out through the elevated part of their second point, but they are not going to hold on to this second.
Botmode's in behind as well. Somehow through all of this, he's on the enemy second. Not sure how he's undead up there, but now because he's behind, he's not with his team, who are getting bombed by this enemy soldier. That's so much damage onto Juxta.
Oh no, they're trying to force it too much here over on Kekminoi Samurai. I think they're aware that obviously bot mode's behind. They're playing 5 versus 6 right now, but it is a very awkward lobby to get into. That between the shutter door and that kind of tiny choke in the top area. How are you supposed to get in without losing a couple of kills?
It's so hard, right? You're down these 2 players now. You can't really... So difficult to even hold onto the middle. Everyone's sitting super far back as KN bombing forwards, just locking the enemy out of choke. Even Ubers, but no positioning whatsoever. So Maggots are going to take control of this midpoint with 7.5 minutes left. This is where any kind of round victory starts to get really scary, really decisive. Look at how fast KN is trying to get in behind onto the enemy team. He's going to get chased down by this enemy soldier. Can't really do that much. There's a scout in as well. Chad rockets don't hit, but the aggression he's setting up for the rest of his team could be very scary here. This game, it is so close between these 2 teams.
So we got a pause. It could be for anything. We have no certain reason, but pause has had a bit of doubt and worry for watchers like you and I, Wandom. It makes you think, like, has a round happened? Has something critical happened in the game where, like, any sort of little advantage can kind of turn the tide here? So, but you know, a mouse kind of disconnecting here or a medic disconnecting there could really cause a sunderous point in their gameplay. So at this point, it could also be tactical as well. Maybe you just can't quite figure things out. You've only got 6 minutes left. Why not get proactive with these, you know, these tactical pauses before something bad happens, like another round?
These fights that we've been seeing in and out of second have been so extraordinarily chaotic. Like we're seeing fights at middle, at second, in big door at the same time. Like 3 things happening at once on your screen. So hard to keep track of, even for us. It must be equally difficult for the teams as well. We see the quick unpause there. Well, that leads me to think that it's probably someone disconnecting, having to reconnect the pause unpause.
That's probably could be all right, depending on who it is, and depending on the state of the game as well. But I think if you're on the side of Mac and company, you're probably crossing your fingers and hoping that no one on his team has dropped out. But we're going to unpause now. We'll see 90 seconds in the future what's happened. Geordie is getting pressed over at the choke area, and they actually forced them to use their Uber first, and then they respond over on Kek Minoin Samurai. Geordie doubles down and tries to use his life to get behind. They go back, clean him up, and Flick is kind of manning the way here. He's showing bot mode how we do it in Euroland.
Yeah, Flick just absolutely bosses on bot mode there. Easy couple shots to take him down, and now 2 players down on the side of the Maggots. They can't really hold it to second. It's so much damage onto Geordie as well, and Warp has an absolutely free bomb in onto Warp. A lot of damage down.
We've lost Mac. They thank goodness that bloke managed to come in behind and get some sort of kill there. Otherwise, it could have been a bit more pear-shaped. But they need players. They don't need kills over on Kek Minoin Samurai. So we're going to back off. We're going to keep Eon alive, as I think they lost Juxta to, yes, I believe that was to Bloke earlier. So they have got the medic advantage, but they haven't quite got the player advantage right now.
Yeah, massive advantage for Eon. Have to be careful of the enemies sort of pushing forward.
Again, Geordie, is this your internet? Well, we still haven't seen what happened in the previous sort of disconnect here, so we've still got that to kind of look forward to, but I think Geordie has been the famous one out of all these players with, internet's kind of cutting out. I think as far as sometimes bringing in different members of the team to kind of cover for him, but he's the brains of the operation. If you lose Geordie, you're kind of losing a lot of stock in that team's power.
I think especially now that that you no longer have either Voxy or Piggles on the team of Maggots, where they were kind of, you could tell sort of watching them at LAN that they were really the sort of the vocal points in terms of strategies and stuff. Voxy, obviously famously super vocal team leader, loves to plan out and sort of assist sort of team strategies and stuff. Piggles, massive emotional support and strategist as well. Having neither of them, you're right, Geordie's kind of the one left and you really need him to be present. I assume and I know that bot mode can do some very similar work to what Voxy has been able to do, but those are obviously completely different ideas to what we're used to in Europe, right? We see the differences in how those bot mode teams of G6, etc. love to play. This is not how we do it in Europe, but I think either way, they should know that they're down a massive Uber disadvantage here.
Well, we've used the Uber pretty early. NA style kind of straight pop in to see if we can get and claim the mid, find any sort of fragging kills, and KN was the one that was identified as disconnecting earlier, so he will disappear out of existence for a moment, but they will claim mid over on Kek Minoin Samurai, and imagine he's connected back in after these couple of seconds over on KN, and really, a grand scheme of things, as far as disconnecting players goes, it could have gone worse.
Yeah, it is what it is. Obviously, it takes the momentum out pretty heavily of this team because they do have a massive ad straight into the middle here. A lot of damage by Zams, but it's only onto a soldier. Yes, you're getting positioning, but Eon did not have to do anything in response to that.
Yeah, very nice back out from Kek Minoin Samurai. So we've got an Uber charge back and forth, taking trades, seeing who can kind of find something better on their turn for mid. As we're going to maybe walk it in a bit more. They get the flank in pretty cleanly over on Kek Minoin Samurai. Fleck is brought low but not down, and they've managed to salvage this mid and not use the Uber charge here, Wandom.
Not use their Uber charge. They can push in onto second, use it here instead. But honestly, preferably, they won't even want to. They'll want to keep it going forward. But Juxta now almost has an Uber charge of his own, so Geordie's going to bomb in to get the force unsuccessfully, but it has bought time for Juxta.
KN is dropped internet again, so that's a bonus kill against the poor lad. But he's going to come back to the world of the living again. That's a full Uber charge for both teams now. So still quite a lot of hope and heart for Dirty Maggots to make the turnaround. Flick's in water though. He isn't anymore.
A lot of damage on the Flick there. There's a lot of damage in River as well. Geordie takes the 1v1 with Cloak and wins it. Fortunately for him, there's Warp for the follow-up, so he gets taken down. 2 players traded. The Pyro up on Ath, because you are scared and you need that gun to live. This is suddenly now, with 4 minutes left on the map timer, 3.5 on the round timer. Mid-fight reset here would be a Golden Cap reset instead. So SNH up on the Sniper has 3.5 minutes to work with. His shots have kind of been successful, but we've yet to see a medic kill. This would be a deadly one. Should he find it? You can see him already scoping up in through main here.
Yeah, he's famously known for his sniper play. He's more of a kind of a sniper player, I would say, than a scout player. But he's been having a wonderful time on scout as well.
Oh!
And so, he gets the kill, starting off on K on that choke. And, well, they have some players in water. This is the boiling pot method here. It's not just about one play, it's about multiple plays all happening at the same time and just putting stress under Dirty Maggots. They claim out and put out one fire in water, and they're setting fire to the other one that's trying to pressure them. Juxta still remains alive throughout all of this, but he's losing bodies, and bodies quick. Af might even have to take the Uber charge, but they hold steadfast with the Uber on Juxta despite that point being pressured.
Yeah, every time someone has to drop down onto the point, they drop down into the sight line of SNH, who can start taking pot shots. He finds that kill onto Zamd, but it's just too little too late. Zamd already finds the kills he needs to find. And so Mac, that final little sacrificial ram, trying to get in. But SNH dead once again. There's an Uber trade onto second, and neither team really has the edge.
Okay, we're in deep in enemy territory at this point. Flick will manage to kind of bust a hole through to make sure his medic can get out cleanly, but it's a bit chaotic here in the world of TF2. KM is behind, but he gets punished, and there's people dealing with kind of scrabblers on the second point. They're going to take the fight directly into choke, and they manage to just scramble out. Flick pushes past everybody, and Mac will go down because of it. He hasn't got his buddy keeping him in safe, but he does get the kill onto Juxta. It's not fantastic, but it's not bad either.
That's such a nice play from Flick, just ignoring the rest of the combo, straight onto Juxta. Unfortunately, Eon falls as well in that post-fight, and this is such a chaotic last 2 minutes left. Neither team has Uber either. It's Juxta with a tiny advantage as Eon just spawned, but with Bloke not up. Wonder if Maggots are going to be looking to try and pressure on onto second, but there are so many red players already forwards. It's going to be difficult for them to get through. They're going to have to try anyway. The soldier already bombing in. It's early damage, but KN does not find much of anything there.
Yeah, we've only got 1 minute and 30 seconds left. I can understand why KN just wants to get proactive and start throwing his body in, and so hopefully he can just find something to work with. But he's going to come back in 5 seconds time, so they can have another crack at it. Otherwise, these two teams will be going to a golden cap, and I don't think either of them want that. That will be a point conceded to whatever team will be happier here from the result. And I'm pretty sure Dirty Maggots probably want just kind of a territorial thing. They want to show that they're not even a little bit weak against this Kek Minyoy Samurai team.
Also, just assuming that each team sort of wins the matches they're supposed to, those Samurai already ahead in the point score because they did manage to take those 3 points off of Manjum.
No, we're losing the skirmishes.
This is an Uber trade. It's not going well for them here on second. Eon!
Yeah, they've it's not a trade at all. They haven't used their Uber charge. Eon managed to hold on to all of that. I guess you're just seeing the kind of the dirty warts of nice little kind of round the corner rocket from Bloke. And you're right, it's a wipe. They can put them in the bin here over on the forward point. Geordie's kind of resisting with the heavy weapons guy, and they got bot mode on sniper, but there's too many rockets on that doorway, and they're going to have to respawn back. Juxta's only just managed to get the respawn back now, and they could go in straight with the Uber before they set up. It's only a level 1 sentry gun. It will stay a bit longer than it needs to. KN doing a nice job of blocking the point from Flick. He's going to go down there and exchange. A lot of players left. Bot mode is getting so many heals and so much work done on this heavy weapons guy, and they just kind of pair it a little bit over on Kek Minyoy Samurai in their rush to get to this last point.
So close there, but the heavy in the final hours of that round, unfortunately just too unkillable. The coordination a little bit, I think, falls apart in the final little moments there for the Samurai. So that means, Turbo Tabs, that we are going to a golden cap.
So that will mean both teams will be walking at this with 1 ETF2L point from this map. Whether or not it's from your perspective of, okay, Kek Minyoy Samurai should be pretty happy. They're taking points away from what I would say a lot of people think is the stronger team, or if they're a bit disappointed because this is their map pick here, Wandem. What do you think it is? Do you think they're happy that they've managed to just bring it to a tie, or do you think they were really hoping and banking on a full fat win on their map pick?
I think both teams are going to come out of this map feeling like they should have won in regulation. Both teams had opportunities to try and sort of seal the deal there. That unfortunate force out of Maggots on second was just not quite what they needed. Ended up getting wiped as a result, and they're just completely on the back foot there. They had moments to sort of not have this end up in a tie, right? Unfortunately, they just end up at a 2-2. Samurai are going to be kicking themselves that they didn't have better focus on that final little last point and just managed to send it in regulation. I think either team here is going to be frustrated that didn't end up getting all 3 points. They're going to be both looking to consolidate themselves with just 2, even before we go into Bagel, right? Which is another unknown. But I think the teams might be a bit upset that they're not winning. But I don't know about you, Turbo, but I think me as a viewer, I am feeling completely opposite emotions.
Yeah, this is a very nice, well-balanced TF2 game. It's nice to see 2 teams obviously butting heads and having little problems that they're figuring out as the game goes along. You can see the cogs turning, and they're all very different at problems as well. It's not about just everybody's stuck dealing with this mid or whatnot. They have different strengths to bring throughout the game. I think the biggest strength for Dirty Maggots is I think they have their ideas popping off a bit first. I think, for example, these sorts of kind of abuse of mistakes made by Mac and Company. And Mac and Company feel a lot more clutch, I would say personally, like bringing out situations that they shouldn't be winning, and it turns things around. And this is how you really rattle a team like Dirty Maggots, where they're usually pretty strong in the head game and they're ones making correct decisions and whatnot. But if it feels like your correct decisions are getting punished, what do you turn to? How can you not do what is the most optimum if you're Dirty Maggots? It usually comes so natural.
It feels like, I think for me, the big sort of confluence point on this first map is really trying to find a good solution to those even Uber situations on second. Both teams, their sort of immediate response of getting a player in behind just leads to so much chaos. It really feels like a dice roll. So you're looking for a decisive mid-fight victory here. Zams is in on the map. He's super low.
That is the most Golden Cap play I've seen. Zams is going to take a lot of attention from the medic, though. There's a lot of attention from Warped, and they brought so down low in the corner. Eon has got no one pocketing him right now, but SNH is going to come back for his buddy, but he wants to stay in and fight. SNH isn't scared of anyone. He will keep connected in. I'm thinking about going in, but he's like, I want a medic before I fight this dude. This kid's crazy. And he actually gets the kill onto him because he disconnected for a moment to heal his glorious leader Mac in the behind area of second. And well, it's time for a second mid here, Wando.
I think the mid fight might be over, to be honest. Af has control of it. That is such an aggressive mid from Zams. Just takes out Mac from the equation instantly as he's stuck on 1 HP throughout the whole mid fight. Can't contribute. Leaves it up to the DM of the rest of his players. And Af just getting the better of SNH. They're really bossing him in that mid-range fight. Has to play that super aggressive to make sure that Mac can't run in on 2 mid either. But now, that is a huge pipe onto KN. Shuts down the aggression before it even begins. 1 player ad. I think the Samurai might be looking to launch
Flick is out. Oh no, the SNH actually committed to a drop-down play for all of that as well. Eon might get forced. He will be forced by Geordie. And I guess the Uber charge just didn't follow in time. Flick could have really done with an Uber charge there if they're going to have commit people to drop down during that push, Wando.
They're committing so much chaos here in second because they know there's a massive Uber disadvantage for the side of the Samurai. So they have to get aggressive, have to delay these players because now Juxta, huge advantage. He's looking to take this first map victory in the Golden Cap. Still, big advantage. Eon is 65% on last with Flick up with a sentry gun and a pyro. But they're stuck in spawn. This cap is going to come out and Eon's going to have to hold on for just a little bit. 90% as Af is looking and he's spotting. I'm not sure they're going to go.
Yeah, we're taking a sweet time here on Dirty Maggots, and we finally pop off the Uber charge now, but they have to expect that Eon's going to have his Uber charge relatively quickly. Mac, he's got the point on lockdown, and Uber comes raring out. They don't want to waste any time, and they just disengage. I guess it was always the plan for Dirty Maggots to never really commit people in, and they lose a couple of players. Zams will go down, a Doman frag for them, but they're holding and playing off the damage that needs to play, but it's a ×2 cap bot mode. He's got so much time, and manages to make the correct decisions amongst all the whirlwind and chaos of this game. Bot mode putting the last point on his back there.
In the final moment, bot mode sees the angle. It's Zams with those early frags. He's stuck in water, manages to miraculous two-pipe a soldier, but that's the guy who's supposed to protect it. And so with no one there underneath, bot mode just runs in for free. Everyone's focused on fighting Flick, who is just destroying the people in front of him. but you can't have eyes 4 places at once, and unfortunately that means that they're going to lose that map 1 so close. But in the end, that is the Maggots taking 2 points there on Gullywash.
We can say at the very least that even though we have had someone win this previous game, it's a very close game. These are 2 teams that I would say are basically 50-50ing right now. And it just comes to these fringe little kind of outplays, or whoever just seems to look out in these little random moments and pipes catching here and there. And yeah, the Gullywash, obviously the map pick, the best opportunity that Keck Minoin Samurai think they're going to have against a team like Dirty Maggots. This and doing this way could spell a bit more of an advantage for Dirty Maggots in their Bagel pick. But like you said, they had that kind of whirlwind cough breakout against Mandem in the earlier season. Who knows, maybe it might translate a little bit more to this Bagel than I'm expecting, at least.
Yeah, I think the big factor for me is that they just play so differently, right? Bagel is all about whether or not you can find picks in those 2 flank houses that you can use to get in behind and set up sort of a 2-pronged attack onto the enemy combo, right? You sort of, the play pattern is very clear. You're holding 2 houses on either side, and a soldier will bomb in on either side with a scout and try to kill the enemy flank. The enemy flank dies, you can then bomb in from behind while your combo pushes from the front, and you kill the whole combo and you win the game, and you're happy, and you're excited. But that means that this turns into a very, very sort of heavy sort of flank fest in a way that when the Maggots when the Samurai are playing product and they're so successful at that map, it is off the back of having a sniper off class and then Sills being a very, very effective scout off class as well. So they keep those 2 scouts and they just sit and shoot the soldiers who have to bomb in and respect that SNH sniper. You can't run the sniper to the same effectiveness on a map like Bagel, right? Sniper sightlines are way worse. It really falls onto your sort of house control. Yeah. Whether or not you can maintain it, I'm not so sure.
I think King of the Hill is kind of a deceptive way of describing this map. Even though that's what's written in the text, I think it's King of the Hills. This is a map with almost like 2 pseudo points and then 1 actual point. And you're right, these house controls is important. It really disables a lot of teams and what they could do, despite how much you have your kind of little outliers here playing engineers and all these other little random classes. It's all about just kind of territorial control and what you think is best to just kind of taking ground, but also like defending ground.
I don't know. I think, to be honest, it feels like sometimes this map is quite easy to call because you look at a soldier combo, you look at the difference in skill between 2 soldier combos, and you're like, yeah, you know what? Actually, this soldier combo just has a clear difference in DM. They're gonna take the 1v1s and they're gonna win every time. And that makes Bagel super easy. But I think coming out of Gullywash, I'm not gonna lie, I could not tell you which soldier combo I think I would favor in that scenario. I think Warp stepping in, marking for this team, is playing super well. He's rocking the Scatter callback, and he's showing it quite nicely here, synergizing with the rest of his team. I think on paper you'd have to favor KN and Geordie, right? You'd have to favor Af and Bolt.
I think everyone has their their issues and runabouts. I think if I had to diagnose these soldiers, obviously I'm going to go for my incredibly privileged place where I'm sure like I have a lot of authority about, but I think Geordie has the issue of like he has to do so much. He's also the brain behind the squad, and I'm not sure if you've played a game of TF2 Random where you have to kind of main call what Geordie does, but it takes a lot of brain bandwidth. And now you're like, okay, now keep firing those rockets like you used to, where you just weren't thinking about this stuff. It's hard, and sometimes you have this disconnect where Geordie's already preemptively going in, and his team's not quite caught up with what play he's going to make, and his DM is probably not as rocking as like the times where he isn't calling. But and then obviously you have the disconnect between Warped not actually playing for the squad, so he probably hasn't got the same sort of foot on the heartbeat of what this team wants to achieve. And who else is there? KN is disconnecting a little bit. That's not helping the situation. So I think all these soldiers have kind of little bells and whistles about them. It's just whether or not they'll rear their face on a map like Bagel. I think, honestly, this is going to come down a bit more to the Mac and Zam show. Zam seems to be hiring and firing just a little bit better than Mac, but that might be because Mac isn't the Geordie of this team. He's the one that's using that brain bandwidth to tell his team what he wants and what he wants enabled. So it's more like we have these issues, we have these demands, but it's whether or not which classes kind of feel more the pain of it.
That's the other aspect of Bagel as well, right? It's like, yes, you have the flank play coming up, but that also kind of requires a sort of active demo man really sort of pelting down damage on the opponent, doing that initial damage to soften up the team so the flank is effective. At that, as you say, is that demo v demo battle that comes across the point. And yeah, I think we for good reason hail Zams as one of the best demo in the world. I think I would put him right there alongside Habib and Logan, to be honest, coming into Poland.
Interesting.
Might be there with Fancy and Lucas, but he is just a tier below. And I think if this is a map where you really want to show that you're the second demo man, or you're the second best demo man in Prem right now, maybe even the best, you're gonna have to start giving the business here to Mac on this Bagel map.
I think it's interesting. The more I watch Zams, the more I feel like he's been morphing into this sacrificial role on Demo Man, kind of reminding me like a Domo demo. And Mac, I don't know what it is. I feel like there's just something in the water that he drinks, but this guy just has shit that happens to him. Like, he just has like these funny moments and all this. I'm not sure if it's because Mac is a funny guy. He is a very, very funny man. So whether or not there's some sort of subconscious feeling of like, I'm going to just go in and like have these kecky moments that happen, that God, I sometimes feel for the man. So
he's
whether or not
Chelsea fan, you have to feel for him.
Is it the ones that put themselves into dangerous situations that you're going to back up here, or is it the one that just has desperate situations happen to him?
Yeah, I don't know. I think for Mac, we're gonna have to weather a storm here, because I can see the angle very clearly when you're looking at this Samurai squad. I think if I were on the other team, I would be targeting him, to be completely honest. I think if there was a player that I would look at and be like, who can we punish on this map where sometimes the combo is playing very deathball-y, I would be putting my crosshairs on Mac. And I would imagine so are the Maggots. And they're going to have to bomb him and bomb him and bomb him. He's going to have to weather that storm. I wonder if he could do it. I'm interested to see, actually, if bot mode has any special North American tactics that he can bring to this, that we're going to see and we're going to be like, wow, we have never done this in Europe ever.
Damn. These players must really like us glazing them, Wandom, because there's not starting the game just yet. But I think this is a good opportunity to talk about bot mode and what makes him such an interesting scout. And to me, bot mode, he seems to be Mr. Fix-It. He is the guy that runs around, and if you fuck up, like, oh, I didn't watch this bit, or I didn't do this, or I forgot to cover this aspect, or oh no, we're fucking up on last, bot mode will just kind of pick up the slack of your team, doing jobs that really your scouts shouldn't really be doing, but he will just make sure that they won't lose the game for you. And I think that's what he contributes the most. Anyway, enough glazing. It's time for blazing. We're straight into our Bagel second map here. It's the map pick for Dirty Maggots, and already we're starting off kind of pale and safe here, Wandom.
It's early damage onto both sides, but neither side really committing. So it's actually Jordan with the high ground. Instant spam there, coordinated onto Flick, as he's just one shot in a single tick. He's taken down, so is left, and the bomb's coming in.
Boys, I think we were supposed to talk about who's Pocket Scout on this on this map, because Flick was kind of playing Pocket Scout. I think SNH was taking up some heals on the Pocket Scout position as well, and because of that, you saw the dominoes fall. Flick goes down because he doesn't have enough heals, and Bloke is a bit weaker on the flank because SNH isn't chilling there. Yeah, it's all kind of coming apart in this house of cards.
That is not the best start to a map number 2 here. Uber's going to come in straight away, but it's only onto Geordie here. This is Juxta, who's able to kite for absolutely ever. You happily take a soldier sack there any day of the week. As now the Uber's faded, you get nothing for it.
Juxta!
There's one warp in behind, and he does get the force.
That was a nice rocket. And, Zams maybe overextending a little bit, but they will find the kill onto a punishing SNH instead. Flick playing really aggressive. Is this the same Flick I know and adore? He will manage to kite his medic out into danger zone. And believe it or not, when the dust settles here, Wandem, it's actually Dirty Maggots that are a bit worse for wear.
Yeah, they get a super late kill into Eon though, so slight advantage. But look at Jordy! He's in spawn camping! Quite get the follow-up rocket. It would have been very nice onto SNH. Doesn't find it, but does delay. So the cap is going to come out. That is a very, very late Geordie spawn. Actually, it's going to be down forever, but the Maggots have managed to round off a minute and 15 seconds, rather, on that timer. So at least for now, we're even, but the early damage here onto left. Once again, this is App with control of house. And a really good angle onto the enemy team.
Yeah, they aren't finding the way in on Dirty Maggots. It's not immediately obvious, and they're not claiming an absolute free midpoint as well. They've got some toes and fingers over on that. Mac getting pressured to kind of show too many toes and fingers. Will get picked off, and very nice put out by Dirty Maggots to actually find the answer here and set up that play from Geordie from that right house.
It's even Ubers now. Zam's so aggressive onto this enemy combo.
Oh, Geordie!
Bye-bye!
Good goodness. Okay, well, I mean, that's rocked a little bit of the Samurai squad. They have to just kind of sit there and kind of take it like good little boys and girls. And, well, maybe we can get a couple of toes onto point again, but it's not going to be given for free. We use the Uber a bit aggressively over on Minoin Samurai. Maybe a trend we're seeing here as they can't really find much of it. Flick even goes down on the flank as well. And they've just absorbed all of this. They haven't even claimed the midpoint from all of this chaos. They will get the overwhelming power against Am, and Warp finds a successful kill onto Juxta. It seems their style of gameplay is basically get the Ubers out of the exchange and hope Warp comes out big.
Oh, Eon actually with the moves here. Somehow, Turbo, they've actually managed to get control of the point, stabilize a little bit, dare I say. Eon, who manages to live that exchange, has a tiny advantage here. About 10%. This is a refight that could come in any second. Because they got control of that point, their respawners will not be as fast as the Maggots. So you can see them already in control of the point once again. Down to a minute.
These scouts, man, they are just taking so much damage. But they are managing to total a line, at least for now, in this game. They still got control. Actually, they gained control of point during all of that. Maybe I was torn a little bit asunder. Mac feeling the pressure as well. And the houses aren't really compromised. Geordie's going to go in for the bomb onto Eon. Doesn't really connect like he was hoping for, and Eon's going to get health back, and he's going to be healthier for it. Matt goes down, though. I think that was happening on the flank for some reason. They're going to claim the midpoint back. They've got that overcharge to defend it again if they try to make the push over on Dirty Maggots, but there's a lot of time wasted by Dirty Maggots by just kind of sneaking the point earlier.
Yeah, they select a point so fast, and as you're saying, they have so much more time to work with here. Only 20 seconds left on that timer, so Flick's going to go for the trade. Counter Uber immediately comes out to Juxta, so neither team are going to be losing any players until this post-Uber starts. Unfortunately for the Samurai, they don't really have any high positioning here onto middle. It is just Flick looking to drive his team forwards as House is contested, and it might just be won by Bloke, who gets that early kill into Af, but is not followed up. Instead, it is Sam falling, and so with Mac still alive on the point, he can rain down damage, but so far, the kills aren't being found. Flick has to find the damage, and he's not quite finding the shots.
Yeah, bot mode is doing a wonderful job of playing off the aggro of Geordie, who seems to look like a lot of his sort of attempts are kind of solo YOLO movements. He's more of a force of weather than he is a teammate right now for Dirty Maggots. During all this, they haven't claimed that point, so they're still doing a wonderful job over on Minoin Samurai. They're going to have to give it up now, though. Flick lost a couple of pinkitos off the point, and now we have to claim that point. We have to use the Uber. Okay, we've used the Uber, but he's out. He's actually circling around all the way to the edge. He still hasn't quite got the Uber. Oh my god, we're going to get an action shot of Juxta going down to the tail end of this Uber if Flick hits his shots.
He's so low. A single soldier bomb takes him out here. This is, if they get this drop onto Juxta, it gets so difficult now for the Maggots to stay in. It's going to be the Samurai with about 30 seconds left. They're going to have to win a sort of follow-up DM fight without their medic alive.
Yeah,
incredibly difficult, but it all hinges. I think there's no soldier available either, so this is Flick. And you can see the health on Juxta. It is one shot. Doesn't even have to be a meat shot.
Yeah, but it's a it's a stress situation. Af can always play good pocket scout and get in the way, and hopefully he's set. Pocket scouts need to kind of have that kind of toggle on, toggle off mindset of should I dodge, should I get in the way. So hopefully he's going to get in the way. But you have got Bloke coming around the corner. Warped is out of commission. He is not going to be able to solidify this, and SNH Mac might be able to contribute to this, but there's a lot of players all going to be barreling in this corner. So Geordie in bot mode probably on the punish for Eon. It depends pretty much how much they prioritize Flick and they want to keep him out of the fight. But it could go a lot of ways here. It would be very interesting to see at the very least. But we're not going to see an Uber, I think, from Juxta. It would be pretty wild if it did go off.
He's so low, right? He's in such a terrifying position. But, however, as you're saying, right, I think if Samurai loses fight, they also lose the round. Like, they also just need to get this kill onto Juxta because the alternative is so disastrous for them. Instead of getting that kill onto Juxta, now they're staring down the barrel of potentially losing your medic. There's not really another bit of the red team available to support in this post-Uber either. This Uber is over now as soon as we unpause. So they have to get this early kill onto Juxta. If not, there's a fully Ubered scout ready to barrel into the whole of the rest of your team. So either way, this is a very, very precarious position here.
I think the timer was at that sort of situation where I don't think you even have much time to think about who wins the battle of this particular skirmish. It's hopefully someone's got their pulse on, like, we need to get somebody on the point during all of this chaos, because I think too much time will be wasted figuring out who wins this exchange.
Yeah. It's close, and it's going to unpause.
It's a nail biter. They really want to keep us in suspense.
Who's winning Turbo Tabs? Who are you going for this round?
Flick. I can tell you, Flick missed a shot. He missed a shot in that little unpause there. So it's not great. Juxta has not lost a single unit of damage.
But he's about to fall into the crosshair.
But Bloke is coming back. It really depends who kind of ends up eating some shots here. But I think Juxta's going to live.
Yeah.
I think like despite the fact that next shot has gone down, I'm pretty sure, and we're at the tail end of an Uber, if I'm feeling my scout out properly, you're probably in that reload sector of the scattergun, if you Flick. So it's not like all the shots are going to be forthcoming, and he's going to have all the opportunities here. It really will come down to whether or not Juxta can kind of get out before Bloke arrives, if I'm honest. But I'm gonna bet on Juxta. I'm going to assume that that's what's going to go off here. And I think they will manage to maybe get a soul onto that point, get a pinky toe on there. And I think obviously Mac and SNH will want to feed as well because they really want to get this medic down. But I think a lot of it will just get absorbed because there's a lot of players that Juxta can walk through, but the rest of Kek Minoin Samurai cannot.
Yeah, I think to be honest, this is quite scary. Pause again. We're getting closer now, Turbo Tabs.
I know, it's like a choose your own adventure book, isn't it? Turn the page, please.
Next
Do you want
slide,
to go
please.
Page 69 or page 67? Where are we going?
If you guys are curious to see the next page of this round, head over to donate.poland.tf to help us set up a stage for you guys at Poland. We are on pause,
Flick
and Flick is instantly one-shot. The soldier bombing in, but Juxta's alive! He's lived! Eon is nowhere to be found, neither is the rest of his team. I think the Maggots might have done this.
I'm a savant. I'm a savant and a surveyor of the game of TF2. Juxta stayed alive. Everyone committed to try and keep that kill kind of fruition still going. They throw in one little soldier that's come back from the respawn. They even pop Uber as a celebratory thing for Dirty Maggots, and that's going to hurt the soul. And it probably hurts a bit more of the soul now because Flick is probably going to fiend this game. He's going to watch this this kind of beefy moment unfold in glorious slow-mo, and it's going to kill the boy's soul.
Yeah, that is obviously that pause happened in about a minute's time. So
now,
yeah, around now. But yeah, very close round though, Turbo Tabs. We're back onto middle here. Spam just being exchanged, and once again, soldiers don't like bombing in instantaneously. Instead, you can see either side, it is the blue soldier sort of feeling out the houses, making sure no one's pushing down immediately. So Mac can just kind of stay on the point, but you can't get up too far because there's soldier spam coming out either side here.
Oh, we're just kind of playing it cool, calm and collected. Bloke is going to be forced out of his house, and now because of that house control with 2 combat classes, they think they can weasel this point out a little bit longer, but they back out here, playing very calm and like smooth on Dirty Maggots. They don't want to risk too much, and I say that, Geordie goes down, so with that usually puts a lot of confidence in your team to kind of start getting aggressive, and because of that overextension of confidence, they will lose Flick and SNH. No scouts on a King of the Hill map. It's a disgusting thought.
Yeah, they just instantly lose control of that point. Such a huge pipe from Zams there, just behind the point, perfectly curved. Getting onto Juxta, or onto SNH rather, as well. No scouts, no control of points. The Maggots have the point now. You see them just sitting back, waiting for the Samurai to try and do something. No! They're sending you straight onto the opponent.
Okay, so we're going to get a bit defensive. Af is going behind, so this is annoying on any King of the Hill map, and they're going to have to dedicate a couple of resources to keep a tab on him. So while that Dragon Ball Z fight is happening, we're having a good battle royale from this midpoint. They get aggressive over on Dirty Maggots, and yeah, they did take out Af, but Bloke comes back to the rest of his team gone down in a pale comparison, and all of this was time wasted on the clock.
Yeah, this is time wasted, and now for the Maggots is looking very nice, right? They're already taking a minute, and they're managing to hold on to this DM fight as well. Flick has still not managed to grab that cap that is finally coming out right now. In the midst of this as well, they've run over a minute, and Ubers are completely even here. They can go for this trade, and it's been working out so well for them. Already Zams is back behind the point, and it looks to me like Maggots just have such a better grasp of maintaining control at this point. Just off pure spam, they're already getting another frag, already have KN once again, and that is Eon forced to pop.
Oh, KN eventually goes down, but it makes them sweat for it throughout all of that, and they have no ubercharge over on Kek Minyoy Samurai. They only got 1 kill to show for it, and they just claim it back despite having 5 versus 6. Warped will not go down, but they're seeing if they can capture the point during that. They pop off Uber, they realize they have a full fat Uber advantage, they go for Mac, and they will get the kill onto him, but again, 1 kill is probably not what they were hoping for. The Bloke goes behind during the Uber charge, and the collapse comes out from Kek Minyoy Samurai, but they're actually absorbing it very nicely over on Dirty Maggots.
It's SNH on a one-man mission, does so much damage to Zams. Unfortunately, just too many bodies gets cleaned up, and now point in hand Ubercharge alongside it in a massive advantage here for Juxta. This is the Maggots not quite going for the forwards hold, quite have the numbers for it, but they do have huge sizable advantage here on this second round. Samurai firmly on the back foot now. They're going to need to find some kind of bust coming in through. It is Bloke, and it is SNH immediately down, Flick down to 3 HP. And they're just getting busted before they even try to come in. The spam from the Maggots, it's just too strong.
Yeah, that's going to be one of those moments that cuts deep, because you will lose confidence now in making those little plays into house if you think it's going to end up like that. Losing 1 player is like fine, but kind of losing 2 players in the blink of an eye, it kind of hurts. They get on top of Eon with their own Uber charge, and the Ubers are not going to come into the mix in this fight. They've got too many people around and willing to just clean up these last few members, seeing if they can just sneak the cap in front of them. I can understand why they're getting desperate here. There's only 20 seconds left. This is a very striking round for the mental, I think, for Kek Minyoy Samurai.
The Maggots are seeming so much more in control of this map. No matter where the Samurai try to go, they just keep losing the DM fights as well. Is Warp trying to bomb in, get some kind of control of house, but it's just instantly shut down by the enemy team. Now it's Kayan in behind with a massive bomb comes through. Everyone shut down. Another round on the board for the Maggots, and they look so much better than they did in that round number 1 there. Finally, I think for them, some kind of semblance of control.
Yeah, probably. I can see the cogs turning over on Kek Minyoy Samurai. I think obviously there was a play where Bloke was trying to push the flank on his own. It goes down. He calls for SNH this time. That goes even worse, and it feels even worse when that doesn't work out as well. It feels probably a little bit like the options are limited here over against Dirty Maggots. And Dirty Maggots, it feels like the game is a bit playing more itself as well. Also, I really don't like the Ubers and why they want to take Ubers over on Kek Minyoy Samurai. They seems like to be coming out of nowhere, and they're not really playing off a fighter advantage or play. And if they are, it's all just down to whether or not Warped can get the jump onto Juxta post-Uber.
So far, he needs to jump on the enemy team at the start of his mid-fight. SNH takes so much damage as he tries to battle forwards as well. It is one scout on the push.
Oh my god. Yeah, he's just... I guess his team really didn't want that point, but Flick wanted it bad, and he will go down. But it's fine, we've got Pocket Scout number 2. He's going to take another crack there. Jordy, kind of playing aggressive, will finally go down, and Bloke is doing a much more better job of keeping himself alive on this flank as well. Warped, I think, and Bloke are actually the ones kind of salvaging things for the team. They're going to pop off Uber. Flick, again, aggressive, trying to make the multi as much as possible. Bot mode goes down from a stray rocket from Warped. Must be holding that flank pretty well, but no real frags to be made from this kind of aggressive Uber charge from Kekminyoy Samurai. They're challenged by Geordie, going suicidal, but it's not Geordie that gets you, it's the post after it, and oh, they managed to actually lock down the post fighters as well, so very nice turnaround.
Yeah, super nice turnaround there. Lots of frags, and they completely wrest control of the point. Finally, this timer looks a bit in their favor as well. With that Uber charge advantage, you can see bot mode now up on the elusive and rare Bagel sniper. I do not like any of the angles that you have. You can actually see him just sniping out of spawn.
He's going back. He's like, wait, this isn't product. Like, but they will get the kill onto Bloke. Bloke hanging out towards the wall. Not really a reason why many soldiers like to hang out and hold that area. But they will get the free kill onto him, and they get out of the forward hold, thankfully. And KN making space, making them divert eyeballs, and they get a pick on... Where is SNH during that? I'm busy watching the enemy fight, and he must be having his own solo single-player adventure.
He's on his own, and that means this Uber charge tries to get forwards. Flick gets the force finally onto Juxta, but they're just losing so many players, including their medic for this. Botmo just getting the better of the opponent's scouts, as Zams finds himself a nice little pike there onto Mac as well. So it's just SNH alive, has to stay in spawn. He's going on the sniper as well. I don't think that this is actually supposed to go onto the point either. He's just like checking, making sure that no one's like forward spawning, or you know, sort of like spawn camping them rather.
Random, do you see what I mean by these Ubers from Kekminyoy Samurai? Yeah. They're absolute dog shit. I don't know why on earth they pop it in sometimes. Oh! They will get the snipe though onto Juxta. I didn't see that coming, and I'm definitely certain that Juxta didn't see it coming either. It's like, okay, you want to play dirty over on Kekminyoy Samurai? KN will win out on the little flank fight in this house area, and wasting time a Flick to say he should be capping, but they will get the kill onto KN to say the least. But maybe those couple of seconds might rear their head in a little bit later.
It's an absolute miracle shot from SNH onto Juxta there. Position either way, disastrous for the Samurai. But SNH just walks in for free and hits that headshot onto Juxta. So, Uber situation's neutralized. Both teams have even Uber, and the Samurai managed to get control of the point. Timer now equalized. We're right back in this fight, but the point still remains. In this even Uber situation, it is this Maggots coming up time and time again ahead of their opponents in these spam fights.
They beat the mountain. KN has gone down on this flank, and now Geordie's going to suicide himself in. He's playing hero over on the pocket class, and now that's 2 kills down for the count. They have more time to kind of whittle away here over on Kekminyoy Samurai.
Yeah, they're just everywhere, nowhere at the same time. Zams has to sit back and regain some health before he can push in. Even Uber's now, but it is the Samurai just running down the clock as Uber's coming forward, and they're getting Flick.
This is a wonderful job. They're getting the scout from under their feet. A lot of counter Ubering and multiing from Eon. We get on top of Juxta, and we will get that kill, but they didn't have an escape plan planned out for this. This is why medics are a little overrated in the game of TF2. Sure, you get the medic going so deep, but your entire team is left squandered and kind of bared for the rest of the team to collapse on top of you.
This is the saving grace of this round, is the fact that there's only 19 seconds left on that round capture for the side of the Samurai. You just need one single fight, a victory in that, for them to be able to get right back in this round.
But a trap down already. Bloke. That's annoying. And now KN is kind of thankful because he doesn't have to play the stupid soldier game against Bloke for a couple of seconds at least. And they're seeing if they can like just get the point from under their feet here, but they're not sleeping here over on Dirty Maggots. They're blocking and still challenging, trying to go for this sort of point play. Flick might be the one to go down here. He's wondering, where's my stinking crossbow? And Bloke goes down for a second time here. I think they're very much disengaged and not everybody got the memo.
Yeah, that is such a huge kill from Zams onto Mac. There's only 30 seconds left for the Maggot side as well, even Ubers. But with the demo down, this makes the push nigh on impossible for the Samurai. They're getting forward held as well just by Zams with these beautiful stickies here. Doing such a good job. Early damage onto the soldier as well. Bloke getting damage once again. They have one more fight in them here. 20 seconds, both sides.
They don't find a kill. Warp goes down in his own house. They have to get this Uber shot, but the Uber charge is not looking great. Hopefully this post fight can go fantastically. Eon will go down, and they have enough Uber to fight these post Uber fighters as well. They try to take a page out of the Maggots, but they don't have enough ink here. Random, I should say. My God.
What bombed in, but oh my God, that fight is so close. Leon gets caught out in the end. Though he goes down. There's no Hellfires left, and Maggots, from such a close Gullywash game, we now end up in a 3-0 victory there on Bagel. What a change of pace.
These Ubers have not been kosher over on Kekmin Samurai. They just pop in hoping to get aggressive and then thinking that they have the master plan once things kind of settle down. But A, they take way too long to kill anything. There's not even a clutch play where anybody's dropping, so they're not even playing for like a drop player or anything like that. They're just literally all in, seeing if they can just attack Juxta. Juxta responds so much later, and they have a lot more, let's just say... you know, when you have a lot of authority of like keeping the Uber like on on one single target, there's none of that over on Eon. I think they are literally, we're counter Ubering, everybody gets a part of this Uber, and then somehow that Uber actually ends up a bit stinky and they end up getting collapsed that little bit sooner, and they kind of probably wonder, how come Dirty Maggots get to do this? This isn't fair. It's just because they're keeping it on one target.
Oh my God. Tubba, when's the last time you saw a soldier go 20-6?
I see it every time I play the game. What do you mean?
My bad. I walked right into that one.
Okay, let's see. I'm diagnosing to see what you go.
KN was bossing on them. Jesus Christ. I feel like, he was. I guess this is why the Maggots felt like, the Maggots were winning all of these DM fights, because look at KN. 20 for 6. That's a pocket scout KD.
Dude, he's the king of his castle. And I think there was a few times where a lot of it came down to Bloke seeing what he could fish out of that. There's a couple of times he's recruiting people to the grave to make those sort of plays happen. There was a couple of times Warped managed to win from his house and get in and get that jump on Juxta. So that's probably when their game looked the best, if I'm honest, is when Warped was being enabled a little bit more. But sadly, couldn't find it. I don't know what's going on so much. I'm not sure if it's just the immense pressure play from Dirty Maggots, but SNH and Flick seem to kind of be taking a lot of damage. I wonder if there's like a damage taken stat and where we go. Yeah, like Flick, he's sitting at like 7k damage taken, whilst Af is like sitting at 3.9. Like there's, you know what I mean? One scout's getting double damaged, you know, compared to the other one. There's something needs to be kind of figured out and sussed here.
Yeah. Like, we're really, like, I think that damage spread has to just come from the fact that KN had such an easier time playing this game, doing so much work. And, I mean, you're letting a soldier get a Tomas stat line, like, we gotta have some conversations. That should not be happening on a Bagel game. Obviously, massive kudos to KN for having I think really that has to be the story of the map. You can see Zam's also doing very good damage despite not having the craziest KD, but pop mode immediately there. Sort of follow that up and explain why. But yeah, I mean, Dirty Maggots looking a lot better. But honestly, to be fair, there were two very close rounds. The only not close round was the second one, right?
I think it was just a bit more like it felt more like Dirty Maggots were in control. They were aware of the timer. They're like, oh, it's fine, guys. We'd rather do this properly, and it takes a bit like 20 more seconds or something to operate in summit than to kind of like rush it. And I felt Like, it was fine. I'm sure, like, yeah, the timer looked a bit deceiving, but it felt a lot more in control on Dirty Maggots. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. Big stuff from them. I think that's the sort of confidence boost they need, right? They're going to be walking away from this official with 5 points instead of 6. They're obviously going to be, I think, kicking themselves a bit for not getting that last little point. But, I mean, yeah, I think Samurai come away with this. I feel like if you're the Samurai also, you come away from this series and you think towards those playoffs that you're not going to be that worried about this. Like, this is
not,
now in your head. You think that you can win this series.
It's not a big gap by any means. They have something they can work with here. They can look back at the tape and see what was going wrong. Just maybe a couple more. The mistakes that can be fixable. Let's just say that. But I want to make out that whilst bot mode has been playing a very nice set of couple of games, I feel like throughout the games I've been seeing moments where if he had regular ping or maybe land ping, for example, hint, he would be getting a lot more impact. He'd be getting kills, like almost opportunes of like Tomas levels, which has me a little bit worried. They've got soft. They're playing, they're boxing with like boxing gloves right now, whilst the rest of Mac and company are, fighting bare fist.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super interested to see how this Dirty Maggots team does at LAN. I think obviously you get that really big bot mode upgrade. I wonder if you get a mental buff as well, because obviously bot mode is playing with them and not an American team. I'm curious to see what secrets he can reveal, if there's any secret strats.
Plus, I imagine surely
kryptonite.
And imagine with this guy, he's probably got a couple of chips on his shoulder about all these Americans turning up and all that. And if there's one thing I've learned in TF2 is like the most powerful motivator by far is spite.
I know. Agreed.
But yeah, it'd be interesting. Obviously, commiserations to Kek Minyoy Samurai. It was still a very good game to watch. It had healthy signs for all teams around.
Yes.
And honestly, that Gullywash could have gone either way.
I agree. I think it sets up very nicely for very interesting playoffs, and very nicely up for a very interesting LAN, which, by the way, guys, I don't know if you've heard, everyone in the chat, but we are looking for a bit of extra funds so we could set up an absolutely amazing stage for everyone involved. That means both the players, for us, the production, obviously, for us, the casters as well. Obviously, casting with a crowd is more fun, and then, of course, for you guys at home, ultimate vibes, ! Donate in the chat, donate.poland.tf. Have any money to give, we would love to receive it. It would be amazing.
Please and thank you.
Please and thank you.
All right, Wandom, I think that's us. I guess we need to put a nice tiny bow on this. So obviously I've been Turbotabs. With me has been Wandom in the booth. Ben has been doing all the lovely production of this week 5 game of Dirty Maggots versus Kek Minyoy Samurai. We've got more ETF2L coming up, so please stay tuned. I'm sure you can, punch the TFTV or, Google it or follow any of the wonderful crowds of Twitters and X's or whatever social media we've got going on. We'll keep you updated on that. There's a Discord, yada yada yada. All right, we'll see you next time.